Hello and welcome back to my channel. I am Abe with MysticGenmara.com, and today I would like to do the reading for the air elements for May of 2022, and the zodiac signs that are associated with the element of air are Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. The reason that I work with the elements versus doing zodiac signs is, for me, it's more comfortable to work with the elements than it is to work with the zodiac signs. So that's just how I read. How I like to do my readings is I do 3 cards per week. So there's 4.5 weeks in May, but we'll give it 5 week reading. And for each week, I draw a card for a guide or guardian to work with that week, a message from source for kind of encouragement for that week, and then a lesson or challenge that is something that you can work on if you are doing journaling or personal development type work. So I am using Kyle Gray's Angel Guides Oracle deck, Beyond Lemuria Oracle deck, and Radley Valentine's Fairy Tarot today. And all of the links for the various card decks will be in the description. And if you're new here, go ahead and hit a subscribe for me, and if you like what I'm doing, click like and leave a comment if this resonates with you, or if it's something that you like, or if you have suggestions. I'm all about hearing for those too. So on with the reading. So the first week of May for Air 2022, your guide or guardian is the Angel of Manifestation. So that guide is actually going to help you manifest the things in your life that you've been wanting to bring in creatively, business-wise, even relationships can be manifested. But the things that you've been working on and trying to really bring into focus, and you might be feeling a little confused or lost, this first week, if you tap into the Angel of Manifestation, and it's going to be different for each one of us. Some of us might get an angel that is commonly known, and you might get one that's not. And the easiest way to do that is to ask Divine Source God Energy, please send me the Angel of Manifestation for this week, and so that I can help understand and grow within whichever manifestation that you're working on at that time. The angels are here to be guides and guardians for us. They're just beings like us. It's not someone that we worship, it's someone that we ask for help, like a trusted friend. That's the reason you ask Source to send them to you. So your message from the divine is harmonic flight. And this is from the Beyond Lemuria deck. It says, the powerful image represents the divine we seek when we look deep within the eyes of another, and our armor drops. When we meet another being present in the moment with no stories, judgment, or insecurities, when we harmonize our energies with one another, we can soar to the sky. We can guide each other higher and higher by encouraging all that has been weighing us down to drop away. The bond you share gives you the power to transmute fear, put time and awareness into resolving karmic connections, or they will continue. There may be also life-changing connections on the horizon. So what that means is, when we are looking eye to eye with someone who is in a better mental state or spiritual state, where you can see the divinity radiating out from them because they are tapping in, it shifts you. And going along with that, when you are tapped in to that higher state and someone meets your eyes, they will feel that connection that you have to the divine, and it actually will help to elevate their mood or energy if they're open to it. If they're not, they might get a little testy. From experience, I've had that happen. But what that's saying is that during this first week, be aware of the people you're around, whether you're uplifting them or they're uplifting you, and just pay attention to that, because what Divine is saying at this time is you do have that ability to radiate this divine love as we tap in and we connect, whether it be through reading the Bible, reading a sacred text, meditation, prayer, things like that, even energy healing. You'll notice, if you're a practitioner, that during this first week, people are going to be more aware of that, and so will you. And what this card is saying is just pay attention to when that happens. So your lesson or challenge for this first week is opposing goals, the 5 of spring, sorry. Opposing goals arising from differing opinions, feeling at odds with yourself or others, and overly ambitious people. And so what this is going along with is this first week, when you're starting to glow, you're starting to notice this divine connection that people have, or it's maybe not as strong as it could be, so you can send them positive energy without words, obviously. And what could come up during this first week is something to be aware of, or something to maybe work on if it's something you do, is the opposing goals and differing opinions. It's not that you have to convince them that they have to think like you. Can you accept their point of view and still hold your own? Which is when you build those proper barriers, not unhealthy, keep everybody out barriers, but the proper ones of, I have my opinion, you have yours, I can see yours, and I can acknowledge it, but I don't have to fight with you about it, and I don't have to bring your opinion in to start a war within my own self. So this first week is about finding that balance between people who have views different from yours, and how can you work with that and work around that. So for our second week of May for air signs in 2022, we are looking for a guide card, as my deck tries to run away with me. And your guide for the second week is Earth and Ground. Now, air signs, I understand, it's way more fun to be up in our heads and be disconnected, and basically Earth is your opposite, so you want to be out, you want to be thinking, you want to be creating in that mental state. And what this card is saying is the guides that you're going to be working with for this week are going to be more earth-based. They're going to help you ground that creative impulse that you have into the physical manifestation part of life. So the guide that's going to be working with you is going to help you connect and ground. And a good way to do that would be to, and I do say this a lot, but it is a true statement, take your shoes off, go outside, walk in the dirt, walk on the grass if you can. If you can't and you have crystals, place them underneath your feet, like sit on the couch and just rest your feet on the crystals, because it's going to help draw that creative, very light energy down into a full manifested state. So the angel you're working with, though, is Earth and Ground. So you're working with grounding angels this second week of May. And let's see what Divine has for your message this week. There we go. This one is actually kind of a unique message. It is the star seed element. Some adulting can become too serious. When this happens, adding curiosity, fun, laughter, and a lighthearted sense of play to our perspective can be the most effective way to rebalance. Facing challenges, circumstances with inquisitiveness can bring joy to whatever we are accomplishing. Imagine stepping into a child's shoes and seeing how they perceive the world. If you have a problem, considering how a child might solve it. Humans are evolving, and children can be our wisest teachers. May we nourish their big souls, listen to them with our hearts, and let their ways unveil fresh new eyes that we may see a whole new world. So what that's saying is you're working with the angel to ground, to come back in. Air signs, air in general, is very intellectual, very logical, very cut and dried. This is how it is. We don't see gray. We don't like to play. And I'm not saying that you personally are, but that's the kind of the standard of the air element. What this is saying is set your logic aside. It's okay to have fun. It's okay to play. Go splash water. Go have fun. And that actually ties into the earth and grounding, because when we get locked up into our heads and this intellectual, logical, I have these chores, I have this work, fill in the blank, you lose that connection to your inner child. Your inner child that's fun, that wants to have fun, that likes to play, and just do something spontaneous for enjoyment just because. And so what the message is re-tap into that. If there's children in your life, play a game with them, hide and go seek, or tag, something like that makes you laugh and giggle with the fun of being a child again. And so the message is all about bringing that childlike attitude more into your life. And the star seeds are galactic beings that have chosen to come here to help us remember that we don't have to take life so seriously. It's okay to have fun. So, your lesson or challenge for this week is the Four of Autumn. Manage your resources wisely, achieve a balance in how you spend and save money, help out those who are less fortunate. And so this kind of, in one sense, this contradicts the message from Source, in that you have to manage and you have to balance and you have to focus. But the reality of it is, you're not just balancing and managing finances. You're not just managing and balancing your work to home life. You're balancing your logical and fun side. And if you've been putting too much effort into the logical and the factual and this is how it is, but you have neglected the creative aspect, this card is telling you this is where you need to put the work this week. So the second week of May is all about reconnecting with the earth and reconnecting with your inner child and that fun-loving part of you that, especially when you get older, you start to put on the back burner because it's like, I've got other things to do, I can't always have fun. But when you set the time aside to actually have fun and explore that part of you, the rest of your life actually comes into a clearer perspective. So your third week of May for the air signs in 2022 is Holy Love. So this group of angels is very, very much about connecting into that agape style love. It can manifest into a more physical, romantic style, but this particular, the energy that I'm getting anyway, is very clear to the agape. It's that universal love, that compassion for mankind and the planet and all the stars, your compassion and gratitude towards your angels, guides, and guardians, and the really true connection to that divine source of all creation, the God source energy. So the angel that's going to come to you this week to work with you, if you choose, is helping you connect into that holy love, that divine aspect of the relationship where you tap into that true agape love, which is not a love that a lot of us are familiar with because it's beyond. Most of us are dealing with the phileo, the brotherly love, or the eros, romantic sexual love. This one is the agape love that is literally all-encompassing. It's that peace that passes understanding if you go from a Christian perspective, but it's a universal feeling of connectedness and compassion and caring for your fellow beings. So your message for this week is the crown chakra, and it's the unlimited self. The crown chakra is your link to the multidimensionality of your being, the seat of your soul. It gracefully connects you to the heavens. The infinity symbol of limitlessness appears within the unfolding petals and points you to your most potent potential. Here you can delight in the divine strands of life that dance within us when we are aligned with spirit, purpose, and truth. Be present and flow without rigid outcome. Find more space in your life. Find your own way to meditate and explore the state of flow and be receptive to the intuitive messages. So, you're tapping into that holy love, that divine connection that you have that radiates to all other beings. And how you're going to do that is through your crown chakra. If you have the little flat spot on top of your head, which is usually right in line with your ears, it's that top point. And at that point is where your crown chakra sits. It is literally your connection to the divine aspect of who you are. When it opens, the Hindus believe that it's a 1,000-petaled lotus, and as each petal opens, it increases the light that is going up and coming back down to you. It fills your physical body and allows that connection to source, spirit, divine energy. So you're asking for help for the divine love, and then the message is, this is how you start to access that. And you don't access the divine love from your heart center. A lot of people think that you can, and you probably could, but it's way easier when you bring that attention to your crown chakra and let that connection to source activate the rest of your chakra system. So let's see, what is the lesson or challenge for this third week of May 2022 air signs? Okay, it is the 6 of summer. Children or childhood, the return of people or romances from your past, remembering events differently in better or worse light than how they truly occurred. And so what this is saying is, while you're tapping into that loving energy and you're reconnecting and you're looking at things through the agape style love, don't rose coat the things in your past. Don't put on rose-colored glasses and look back at a past relationship that may have been very toxic for you or just not aligned with you and say, well, that was the better days and I need to ditch what I have to go back. What this is saying is understand, and this is something to work on, that what has been is why you are where you are now. Those lessons from the past have cycled up so that you can be where you're at now. If you go back, you're losing those lessons and you're actually going to regress in your spiritual journey or your physical journey. So this is a way to remember the lesson, but don't repeat the trial that went along with it. So we'll jump to the fourth week. Well, that card came out real quick. So your fourth week guide for the air signs is the angelic protection. So this kind of taps into your guardian angel concept as well. And so during this week, the angel that is going to come forward for you, or you can ask that source send, is going to be one that works with spiritual protection. Whereas your actual guardian angel works with physical and spiritual, this one is what I'm hearing is specifically for spiritual protection. So learning how to build those spiritual walls to keep out the negative influences, to help align you to a higher purpose and keep you from getting spiritually distracted. Because if you get wrapped up in one type of metaphysics or religious studies to the point where it starts to affect your physical life and you miss out on other things, that's when you get into that imbalance and you may have taken something that may have been good and turned it completely negative. So using your angelic protection guide is a way to help find that balance and build the healthy boundaries so that you can continue to grow, but you are still on Earth, so we do need to live here in the moment too. So let's see here. Your message from source, basically the encouragement, is full spectrum chakras. Step out of the black and white mentality of good and bad, honor the full spectrum of life, and see through fresh eyes. When we judge something, we create a story, and often those stories are limiting. Over a lifetime, we subconsciously gather many of these stories, create a space of no story for miraculous healing and crystallizing new paths. This space empowers us to keep our truth and be all that we are, embrace creation in all her colors, including the raw, muddy, earthbound shadow parts of our situations, to determine whether the stories are limiting your perspective. Let the compost of the challenge you have overcome feed the new shoots and blossoms. So when you're working with the angelic protection, you're keeping back the negative. And it's not that you don't need to see it and understand it, but it's helping you process it in a way that you can make it into something better. We come into this planet as literally alchemists. We take what we have and create something different, create something better. If you're into any form of art, and that can be literally anything, you are a form of an alchemist. You're taking something blasé and bland and you're making something better out of it. Whether it's taking flour, sugar, butter, and eggs and making cookies, or if it's taking tubes of paint and making the Mona Lisa, you're still transmuting things from one form into another. And what this is saying is when you're in a protected state, you can activate all of the chakras. You can go through and clear out those negative energies or those lesser energies and use them to build upon to make a better future. By using the lessons, not the energetic connection, you can actually build a more positive state. And so what this is saying is be open to that creative shift and change and be okay with letting some things go because they were not helping you any longer. So your lesson or challenge for this fourth week of May is the Prince of Winter, intellectual, determined, focused, and impulsive. Seek out an intellectual solution to your problem, the need to act quickly and decisively, sudden or unexpected changes. What this is leaning towards is during this fourth week, the thing that you can work on, air signs, is as you're working to transmute that energy, it's when you start to shift those energies, it's going to happen quickly. So be ready for that and be ready when you take something out, you need to have something to fill it back. So if you're taking out an addiction or a habit that you want to shift into something different, you take that one out and you replace it with a more positive habit. And I won't say addiction in that respect because addictions are normally not good. But let's say that you always are sleeping past your alarm. So you're going to take that out. You're going to replace it with, I'm going to get up half an hour earlier than normal, and I'm going to exercise, or I'm going to do meditation or journaling, something to get you more woke up and alive. So this 4th week is all about reconnecting and rebuilding these better habits and clearing out the other. But what they're saying is when you start to clear out, it's going to be a very rapid transition. So be ready for those changes and look at them as a positive and not so much a negative. And that, not always an easy thing, I'm aware. So now we're on to the 5th week, and this is only going to go through half the week, but that's all right. We can, the last week of May is only half a week, but this will go through the whole week. So it is take charge and action is your guide for this week. And so when you tap into this type of an angel, this is where you take control of your life. And if it's something that you're not used to doing or you're not comfortable with, this is where this angel can come in and be like, okay, if you do this, or you don't have to do that type of a thing. And you're trying to find ways to, now that you've rebalanced a lot of things in your life, now you have to re-find your footing. And that's what this angel's for, is to help you take charge of this new life that you've created. And, you know, sometimes it'll be big shifts and sometimes it'll be something minor, but you still have to learn how to regain the control and the composure to step out in a more positive way. So your message from Source is freedom, which ties right into that. And dragonflies are all about changing and remembering the past, but moving forward with the lessons. So freedom means living as you choose with your wings and heart open, able to direct reality as you want. The quest for freedom seems innate. You may picture freedom in its more extreme guises, but when we are truly free, our lifestyle may not change at all. Limitations can be a state of mind. The only change might be choosing to live a certain way rather than feeling obligated to live that way. A shift of perspective can help bring lightness and choice in the bigger picture. What does freedom look like to you? If you are feeling stifled, it's up to you to make those changes. So you're taking charge of your life. You've had things that shift. Maybe just mental. It might be with a job. It could be with a living situation. And what this is saying is, no matter how much you might at times feel like you're being constricted or things aren't working and you're feeling trapped, sometimes a change of perspective and just looking at things from an outside source will change how you view everything. And you might realize that you might have felt like you were in a closet or in a corner, and all you had to do was turn around and you're actually outside of the room where everyone else is still inside. So, and there's I don't know, there's a couple music videos I've watched that talk about that type of stuff. But it's just, it boils down to, the message is changing your perspective can actually change your entire life, and you get to make those decisions. It's up to you to take charge with the guidance of your angels to change how you view the world. And it's what this is saying is, be okay with everything being different or everything being the same, but it's your decision on how you respond to it. So your lesson or challenge for this last week of May is the Ace of Summer. Open your heart to love, the beginning of a new intimate relationship or the rebirth of a current one, the awakening of psychic abilities or spiritual epiphanies. So this actually ties in really well because you're taking control, you are finding your freedom, and you're finding your footing in this new free state of mind. And what this, your lesson or your challenge for this week is to be open to it. You're not just here to exist. You're not here to find the most logical, reasonable path. You're here to be open. You're here to learn, to build that fiery passion, to find out how to ground yourself with earth, to tap into those emotional states of the watery realm and bind that all together with your logic and reason, which is what comes from your signs, the air. So when you're doing this during this last week, it's all about reconnecting to that open state, to reconnecting to your freedom. And that could be finding that childlike happiness again. It could be walking barefoot. It could be skipping stones on a stream. But it's that reconnecting and reawakening of these other parts of who you are that may have been repressed due to, well, life in general, that are just going to be beneficial for you. So hopefully that resonated with you guys, and if it did, just leave a comment below, like and subscribe. I really do appreciate that. And if there's someone that you think might be benefited by this, please, I invite you to share as much as you would like, and I will talk to you again at a later date. Have a good month.